Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to bring something forth that shows the complete ignorance of modern day society, specifically that between men and women. Okay. When we think about this eon, okay, this time of the day and age, where we're supposed to have knowledge and enlightenment at our fingertips, meaning look at your laptop or your phone, because wherever you look, people are on their goddamn phones, right? So why isn't humanity learning? Why are you not evolving into something better, like a better version of yourself? Well, I'm going to put forth a key root here. I am in a community chat that my son's mother hooked me up with, and it was called Next Door Neighbor. Okay, Next Door Neighbor. Okay. Now, what's interesting here is I've been posting in this group probably now for about a month, give or take. And a lot of people have really dug what I put in there, not just as an ordained archbishop, but also through the legal rights of the individual, through herbalism, through questioning certain plants and brush that shouldn't be around our children. Like say because they're considered to be pretty, they're going to put things like Oriolander in playgrounds, parks, and schools where our children go. Okay? And this is a poison, by the way. This is a poisonous shrub if they ingest it, right? So, depending on how much they ingest, they end up dying. So, in a community that is based off safety and health, don't you think it would be wise to know what you are putting in your schools, your playgrounds, where it's considered to be a community aspect? I'm just saying. Okay. But no, everybody dug that. They dug that post, right? So, to continue on the quest of herbalism, I was posting different plants, brush, things like mint and how it can relieve if you mix it into a paste and you wipe it on your head, it helps to prevent headaches. You place the leaves on your wrists, it helps to prevent illness. Okay? But yet if you drink mint, it literally is an immune booster. Okay? It's an immune booster. It does all this stuff. And yet, when you tell somebody you don't want to put mint or strawberries in your garden with other types of vegetables and fruits, plants even, because they're considered to be hostile species, they will take over. They're like, fuck that. Fuck that. You know? So, anyways, before I get into this, and I will be posting a photo of this post that this woman did here on my YouTube channel, and I'll do that right after. Um, I want to do a proverb real fast, and this is more like a story that I heard years ago. I don't even know where the source of it came from. I don't know if it's a Chinese monk, a Zen monks, Buddhist monks, or whatever. It's just a couple monks. And the story goes that two monks are walking by a riverbank. They're walking down the road by a riverbank, and they come across a woman. A woman sitting there trying to find her way across. Now, she asks for help, and the first monk says, "Fuck that! No, it goes against our order. We can't help you. We cannot defile ourselves, right?" Well, the second monk walks over, picks her up, carries her across, comes back to the first monk, and they continue down the road. A couple miles down the road, the first monk, completely pissed off, completely furious, infuriated with the second monk's actions, says, "How the fuck could you do that? How the fuck can you violate our rights? Our creed. How could you do that? You contaminated yourself." The second monk calmly just turns to the first monk and says, "I may have carried her, but for a short time. But you have been carrying her the rest of the way. All this time, right?" Hmm. Interesting saying, because when we look at society, you got all these groups of people who have an opinion. And I've said this before, that opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. So when I got onto this app, and I was thinking about posting a couple more times, which I did, by the way. I went down through all the messages and stuff, and I came across this one woman. Michelle Clark was the woman's name. And yes, I'm going to embarrass the living hell out of her right now. And I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit, you know? And I actually pointed this out to her in two different texts. In one text, one message, I did put this story of the monks and the woman on the riverbank. You know, kind of just put things into perspective and kind of said, hey, all you morons that commented telling her, oh, it's your settings, you can block these people out, you can shun them, you can do this, you can do that. But you had one person, one man that was a voice of reason. And the way he did it was he actually put it into a perspective of saying, if it's not proven, as in, court of law, meaning federal or civil law, basically, then it's not real. And basically, and that's just like, Child Protective Services saying, well, a child's not real just because it's still in the womb. Really? Are you the one carrying that child? To a woman who's pregnant, it's very much real. You know what I'm saying? So, this individual, she only saw the fact that it was a man posting about this particular herb. Okay, and it is a plant. So I'm going to read this down to you. Okay, it's the name of the plant is called silk tassel. Silk tassel, and I put this along with the other one, which is Manzanita. Okay, and these were back-to-back posts in this app, by the way. This plant is great for females to have because of the natural antibodies it carries within the aspect of it, within every aspect, really. And the further you get down from, say, the leaves to the branches to the roots, you're getting more and more minerals. You're getting more and more antibodies. So you really want to go further down on the plant to get the most antibodies possible. Okay, and this is why. It is easily ground into a fine powder and placed either into tea or water. You could even put it into a capsule. One of the capsules that was recommended by a guy right here on YouTube, and I did do extensive research into this, and he actually considered the capsule to be, what is it called? Double zero capsule. Okay, that's what he called it. So you can actually take it like a pill. Okay, like you would with a anti depression pill, type thing. Those type of capsules. We call them horse pills, really, where I come from. But anyways, all one needs is a powerful blender, and a lot of people that do herbalism vouch for different types of blenders. So there's a few of them that refer to the best blender to be something called a vitamin X. Now, personally, I just use a regular blender, but that's just me. Or you can use epistle and pedestal, like a normal practitioner. Okay, that's old school there. Now, what's interesting here is all one needs is a powerful blender and a coffee grinder, a strainer to separate the fine powder from the more chunkier, if you will, aspects that are put into a tea. Okay. Now, the power to grind the leaves, branches, and roots of this plant, basically, is what it's used for. Just one of these glasses of water with half a teaspoon of this powder will stomp out menstrual cramps and is all natural in its potency. This power can also be um, this powder can also be placed in a double O capsule if one doesn't like the taste. Keep in mind you want it to take this particular powder, this particular plant, at least 30 minutes to an hour or so before you eat anything. And the reason for that, and this is the recommendation by a lot of different herbalists, is if you eat something with it, it diminishes the potency of the antibodies, which is okay. There's really nothing wrong with that. But you really want to take it like an hour or so before you eat anything, and that allows it to get into your system in a overly abundant manner. Okay, and what this does is it stomps it out for up to 10 hours. Okay, so now now that I've read that one, I'm going to go underneath this and I'm going to bring up this woman's post. So this is what she says. Why are there so many posts on here that have nothing to do with either community or neighbors? Really? Now, keep in mind, what did I post right up at the beginning? This is a plant that will benefit women, meaning all women, right? All right. So I don't understand why some weird man is posting about an herb for menstrual cramps. Creepy, if you ask me. Okay, this is typical humanity for you. They always result back to name calling, fear mongering, and everything else. Okay, so let me go underneath the comments. The first guy posted twice. He said, number one, John W. Thompson says, everything is creepy until proven otherwise. And I am talking about Supreme Court proven. Okay. Chantel T, you have to change your settings. Linda, and I'm probably going to be butchering her last name, Radi, Riede. You can mute and block people on this platform. Probably the best option for trolls. Katie Gillen, this site is sponsored by ads. That's why we see them. Wow. Okay. So this is what I said. And like I said, I posted twice because I wanted to get a point across. Unfortunately, it only gives you a certain amount of space to post, hence why I posted twice. I said, do you not go to the doctor's office to pay thousands of dollars for advice and receive a medication grown in a petri dish that has chemicals you've never heard of? That's that's literally synthetic in nature. But yet, you'd rather judge a post that has been proven for thousands of years before the medical community was even a thought form in its mother's womb. A simple plant that costs maybe $20 USD and gives pure relief for hours is judged. Its poster dubbed creepy. Okay. Name calling brings into perspective that you're afraid to consider the possibilities of alternative medicines that are by far proven by the eons of medicine men and women. Long forgotten gypsies, the Hexa, Strega, and the shaman. Society has this uncanny ability to go with the herd mentality until no other options are available. Only then do you turn to a herbalist, a shaman, or a practitioner of the arts. Everything today is a disease and must be medicated, debunked even. Why? Because a doctor says so? Have we forgotten how many people have lost their lives due to ignorance of these so called paid professionals who make you wait hours and overcharge you? Have you forgotten how many misconceived diagnoses have been put forth due to their blindness? They cannot tell the difference between an ingrown toenail and that of gout. And then I kind of put into effect, hey, my joints were so bad because I listened to them, just as you do. But when I separated and began learning, my health became abundance. People said I need knee replacements by 45. I'm now running with a 15-month-old husky. Okay, my lungs and breathing has increased, all because I stopped going to them. All my clients come to me for advice as a clergyman because of my knowledge and wisdom. Now, keep in mind, I've always said I don't know everything. Okay, I don't know everything, but I will be a learner, a student of everything until the day I die because it benefits me. I get to grow and mature just like you do if you follow that same creed, that same path. Okay? And yet, you try to slander through name calling and titles such as devil, archdemon, antichrist, and yet your tongue, creepy. Why? Because I don't follow the normality of society's standards or views. Last time I looked, it was called individuality, logic. See, this is why I live by the creed back up what you preach and always make yourself available to the public. And for the record, Michelle Clark, your kind, meaning women, benefit from said knowledge, not men. Yet it was protectors of this knowledge that have been butchered and condemned throughout the ages by Christianity. Remember that. The stories are written by the victors, just saying. So I ask you, when do you separate from society and over entitled hacks who spend more time in front of a computer screen to come back to and tell you that you one, your diagnosis, or two, that you have nothing wrong with you? Okay? When did computers take over common sense in understanding the root cause of an infliction and then learning how to treat it? You see, the point is learning today is evil. Expecting what is purely good. Questioning, bad. Accepting established norms, good. Okay? And then I said, I want to add this. And I said the story of the two monks. And then I said the moral here, Michelle, and to all the commentary people who have commented is thus: running with society isn't a good thing. Sometimes it takes one stepping out, excuse me, it takes that one step of kindness to put forth the right action that matters more. Society shuns, rejects, and hates truth. The post on the herb benefits all women, and yet all Michelle saw was a man posted it. The rest of you went on with the normality of the flow just to feel like you belong. At least I helped my community through actual proven knowledge of the ages. You've done nothing but tell how to block, shun, and ignore truth. Okay? So, you have all these comments. Okay, what does a court of law have to do with, say, for example, the World Health Organization? Okay. What if, what is, everything has to go through one one organization that can tell you according to the medical community. Okay. To have this done, you have to have it done in a trial. Okay. You have to have a trial basis. You have to put forth your results, show your results through lab testing, through human testing, and most importantly, the one thing that certain groups hate is animal testing. Okay, and the animal testing is the stage before human testing of these drugs. So the FDA sets forth all these standards, right? And yet it's the World Health Organization that tells you that it's bad or good. Okay, but yet people have forgotten that herbs and plants have been a natural resource for hundreds of thousands of years. Hmm. Okay. So people like me who put forth actual knowledge is considered to be vile, evil. No, wicked, a demon, archdemon, antichrist, whatever you want to fucking dub us. What makes you think that we give a shit how society sees us? You see, it's not about you, it's about us in this manner. We're doing this to better ourselves. If I had a daughter who is about to go through puberty and begin that cycle of womanhood, don't you think that you'd want to have some kind of knowledge in an herb that would help relieve her symptoms? Something that would make her feel better? Or how about your wife, your girlfriend? Would you or would you not want to help benefit them? I'm just saying, that one plant, that one plant does wonders for a woman. So the only thing that came across by her understanding was a man dared to post an herb, a plant that would benefit a woman in general, women in general. Wow. And everyone else is trying to come in through the court of law, coming in through excuses, going, oh, here's settings. There's settings. You can block them, you can shun them. You want to reject actual knowledge, but yet you strive for knowledge. You can't have it both ways, people. You cannot hunger for that knowledge and thirst for it and yet shun it at the exact same time. And that's on you, not on me. Okay? So when I put something forth, I have it backed up with numerous sources. Shamans were renowned for people going to them asking for remedies. Medicine men of African traditions lived right next to the king of that village. Nothing was done without consulting them. Necromancers and witches, such as the Hexa, the Strega, were always consulted. People went to them for hundreds of thousands of years for relief from their symptoms, their ailments. But yet, ever since Christianity took over, the Judo Christian institutions, that knowledge has been lost. Like I said, the victor writes the stories. So, how do you know what works if you don't delve into it and practice it? How do you do that? Think about that for just a moment. I want you to earnestly think about this. Okay? Think about it. If you want to evolve as a practitioner, if you want to evolve mentally through knowledge and wisdom, don't you think you might want to pick up a book? Or better yet, how about actually going out and learning the different species of plants and trees and finding out, okay, this particular tree does this if ingested. Hell, this particular tree, there's a reason why it's called the milk tree. You don't want to fucking stand underneath it because you'll end up with second, third degree burns. You don't want to ingest it even as a secondary ingestment So if an animal eats it and then you eat the animal, guess what? You become ill. You become sick. And yes, even it can become fatal. Look at look at certain things. Okay? Just look at certain things. Let's say for example you want to make an elixir, okay? And let's say for example you want to add in hellbane. How about how about hemlock, or say for example white Oriolander. How about yarrow or yew? Okay, these are just some types of things that you can put together in a small dose that will help you in a spiritual quest. But yet, there's a whole list out there. I mean, how many herbalists have actually published works just on herbs alone? I mean, you got Peter Haining, you got Scott Cunningham, Raymond Buckland. You know, the complete book of witchcraft by Raymond Buckland has like 20 pages just on the medical, herbs and plants that can be utilized for everything from the kidney function to the liver to the heart to blood pressure. Okay. I think about that for just a minute. I mean, just knowing that, why would you want to go to a hospital, sit in a waiting room for up to 90 minutes, if not longer, and have to put out anywhere from 800 to say $4,000 for an hour or two's worth of work? Hmm. I mean, does anybody remember when you could actually look at somebody, say for an example, and I'm going to throw this out here, the yellowing of the eyes, for an example, is a symptom of pancreatic dysfunction. Okay, meaning it's either ill or say for an example, it's an illness within the pancreatic, things such as cancer or whatever. The yellowing of the eyes is a symptom of that. Okay, let's say cardiac arrest. Okay, you look at the fingernails. The fingernails will turn blue. Okay, the eyes become sluggish. It's almost like a stroke effect, if you will, a slow dysfunction where the body begins shutting down. You end up getting pain in the left arm. Okay, you got say for an example, shortness of breath, pale skin, the lack of pigment in the skin. Okay, wow, person's got to be having a heart attack right there. Ooh. See, that's simple logic. That's using your brain knowing what your symptoms is. So if you have to go to a computer screen to diagnose somebody because of all these diseases, have you ever stopped to wonder why there's so many diseases? Why is there so many afflictions over the last 100 years? Ever since the industry sections of like plants and mills have come into play, all these chemicals have gotten mixed in with our foods and our drinks. I mean, they put bleach in our water, for crying out loud, if you're in the city. Now, just think about what they're doing to the medications that they're prescribing you. Just think about that for just a minute. How are those medications being created? Number one, they're made as a synthetic medication. They're being created in a petri dish. What chemicals are being utilized to combine it? Yes, they're effective, but they take days to relieve that issue. Hmm. I can go into the medicine cabinet right now, and I can bring one up for cholesterol, and I can bring one up for acids, for gout. Okay, basically it's an antacid. It's basically, the they use these big ass medical words to define their importance. Okay. And when I started looking into just these things alone, I mean, you look at your spices that you use in the kitchen for everyday work in the kitchen. I'm talking cooking. Have you ever wondered why, for an example, turmeric is great for lowering cholesterol? Hmm, okay. Ginger does the same thing. What causes the plaque that builds up on your joints? Okay. How do you get over that? Okay. How do you get over the plaque that's on your joints? Well, number one, eat an apple. Okay, go to your store and pick up apple juice. Just just one glass of apple juice counteracts that plaque buildup. The auric acid that creates that plaque, and it breaks it down. Like I said in that post, I've been told that I'm going to need knee replacements by the time I'm 45, 50. But yet here I am counteracting that through herbalism. There's plants out there that and herbs out there that get the poisons out of your lungs so that you're able to breathe better. I had asthma for so long. I had to walk around with an emergency inhaler, a buterol. Okay. And then they prescribe this other one that looks like a pink ass fucking snail, you know, that's called Advair. Okay. And it's like, when's enough enough? When are you going to stop prescribing shit and start treating the affliction? They're not going to, because if they did, they would lose this. They would lose money. Why do you want to pay a doctor thousands of dollars to sit on their ass and do nothing? That's the point. That's the moral of this story. I don't know about you, but I would rather do this myself. I went to my elder and I said, I watched your testimonial to where you were and where you are now. How did you do it? And this elder came back to me and said, this is what I recommend to you. This is what I recommend. And since I took that advice, I've counteracted the effects of my shoulder injuries, my knee injuries. I'm running up hills with a 15-month-old husky, a Siberian husky. I'm breathing better. My cholesterol is down because I started looking at what types of plants and herbs does what. Did you know that just eating onions alone, more onions, can lower your cholesterol? Drinking lemons juice, for an example, prevents gallbladder and kidney stones. It's a blood purifier. Mint, like I said in that text, in that reply to that woman, rubbed on your head, relieves headaches. Placed on your wrists, helps prevent you from becoming ill. But yet it's also a natural immune booster. Don't even get me started into garlic and how that can ward off most cancers. Whew. Amazing, right? Amazing. Trump will save our community. Oh, yeah, that's another paradigm in itself, right there. That's actually King Cordova. Oh shit. Yeah, that's another predicament right there. People hate him because he's actually doing something that's benefiting the American people. And he's not just doing it as an American, he's actually sitting there. And he was right. Under his guidance, there was no invasion of any other country. So he actually did a lot of good, and that's why the Biden administration's gone after him, even though he's been out for over 4 years. They still haven't impeached him. They still haven't fucking proved him guilty of anything. You know, the only thing he was found guilty of is still having documents from the White House, in one of his many, housing foundations that all his stuff went to during his eviction of the White House. So basically, you're not wrong. And when he and Biden and was it Obama were sitting there going toe to toe, I don't like politics, and I will tell you that right from the get go here is this. Hillary, Biden, they'll just fuck up. They'll either compromise or they'll fuck it up even more. They'll abolish what came before and just start over, which means nothing gets done. They're going to inflate things. They're going to make everything more about bitching and just getting paid millions of dollars to sit on your ass and bitch rather than to do something about it. Okay? To make it happen. Trump, on the other hand, he runs a international conglomerate, type company. Yeah, he's gone bankrupt a few times. I don't deny that. I mean, I don't deny he's gone bankrupt a couple of times, but he's a billionaire now. Okay, he's a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire. Okay, he'll run this country like a company, like he does his company. Okay, yeah, it will be like the Fourth Reich, but in the end, the American people will benefit. We're not outsourcing to China, who's, by the way, now our enemy, by the way. And if they wanted to, they can call in all that debt, and guess what? We're now part of the Red Army. I'm just saying. Hell, the Queen of England, England actually owns more money than God. They can buy every nation in this world with what they have in their bank account. Their royalty bank account there. So consider all that. That's the reason why I don't get into politics. I hate politics. I hate people. I don't like idiots. So when you think about all the stuff that you can do, I want you to look at the facts. I want you to delve into research, delve into what each of these things can do for your body, how you can benefit yourself and grow. A year and a month since I started doing this spiritual journey. A year and a month. 1 month. In 1 year. I've got no pain in my shoulders. Every so often, I feel my knee. Yeah, maybe once every 2 months, give or take right now, inflammation of the knee. But if you think about it, it used to be every other week. Every other week, and now it's once every 2 months. I haven't had an issue with gout in over a year. Because when you get those symptoms and you start seeing those symptoms, such as a swollen toe or joint, grab a glass of OJ, or a glass of apple juice, actually. I would prefer the apple juice over the orange juice because of the acidic acid that's in them. The acetone based uh, within the apples themselves breaks down that plaque, which again reduces inflammation. Okay? Look at garlic cloves. Look at lemon juice and lemons in general. Look at bananas. Look at what different fruits, such as, say, for an example, celery or strawberries, can do for your reproductive units. You know what I'm saying? Look at what mint does. Like I said, all of this stuff is benefiting you, not me. I mean, sure, it's benefiting me too because I'm actually applying it to my life, but look at what it's doing for you. The only thing that's going to prevent you from learning is the blind ignorance of not letting that fear go. The fear of going against society is the only thing that prevents you from achieving greatness. It's the only thing to prevent you. Because once you separate from society, then you're on your own. So you're forced to learn. Okay? You're forced to learn. You are forced to delve into that history, to delve into that knowledge and go, huh, why did I follow these blind idiots all this time? I mean, take ingrown toenails for an example. I thought I was suffering from that for over 25 years until one RN looked at me and said, have you considered gout? You've been treated for this for so long, and yet you still get it. Have you considered gout? And then it turns out it's what you're putting into your body. It's what you're putting into your body that's killing you. No wonder why our ancestors fasted so much every so often. No, no wonder they relied heavily on herbalism and plant life and nature rather than to sit here and destroy it. This is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. It's like the dating scene. And trust me, there's a lot there, and I'm not going to get into that. So, with that said, have a good one. Hope you learned from this video. And don't let your life be ruled by fear. Back up what you preach with numerous sources. And most importantly, make yourself available to the public because you are responsible for the things that you do and say. All right? Have a good one.